You might have heard that the real estate market in Metro West has slowed down. It's July 2nd, and we're going to take a quick look at what's happened in the first 6 months of 2024 to help you make informed decisions about buying a home in Greater Boston. And while you're going to see that there's plenty of movement in the market at all price points, even around or under $2 million, we've seen homes go wildly over asking. So there's a lot going on. In this video, I'm going to tell you what we've seen, trends, how we try to divine what's happening next, and stick around to the end for my summary on some tips for buyers and sellers as we move into the second half of 2024. I'm Jane. I'm a realtor based in Wellesley, Massachusetts, and my channel is all about real estate in Greater Boston, specifically the Metro West area. So please subscribe, as each week I put out a new video featuring different price points, different trends, and some videos about what towns are like compared to each other. Anything else I can think of that I think might be useful as you relocate. If you are moving, please reach out, as I would be delighted to help you. I've had many buyers find me right here on YouTube, and they've had all different price points, all different goals, and my team and I have been able to get people into their dream home just this year and all through 2023. Let's take a step back and kind of see where we are. We like to say at the Pinnacle Group at Douglas Elliman, I like to say we're like the nerds of real estate, or we're like the data geeks. We really enjoy parsing the trends to help you make more informed decisions. So the first thing that I'm sure you've heard about, even if you haven't actively begun a home search, is that mortgage interest rates are super high. All year, we have been hearing that they're coming down, and thus far, no such luck. Buyers have basically learned to deal. They kind of are listening to their lenders who are saying, hey, listen, date the rate and marry the house. So what does that mean? That means that you should get a house, get yourself established, and then if rates drop, you can always refinance. Buyers are definitely kind of gotten over it, I think, in the last 18 months over these high interest rates. One of the other things we've seen with homes that do go over the asking price is that condition continues to be super important. In fact, I would say more important than ever. In the last 5 or 10 years, we've even been saying that no longer is real estate location, location, location. It is now condition, condition, condition. We find that most buyers do not have the time or the interest or the skills or even the patience to do major renovations. So homes that are in move-in ready, updated condition definitely are the ones generally that we're seeing going over asking. Of course, there are exceptions, but in general, dated homes tend to sit longer and have a smaller buyer pool. Construction continues to be super expensive. That's another factor. I think people are daunted by how much it costs to actually do a renovation or an addition. And, my husband's a general contractor, and sometimes I'm even amazed at how expensive the subcontractors' bids are. But, we did see materials surge during the pandemic, so those prices have come down, but labor continues to rise. We live in a very expensive place in the country, and all of those workers still have to buy groceries and find a place to live here. So we are seeing that labor prices are creeping up and probably going to stay there. Another example of why renovations are getting more expensive is that there's a lot of zoning restrictions in our towns that are encouraging our communities to be more green and just be more efficient. Here's an example of something that's happening in my hometown of Wellesley. If you are renovating more than 50% of your home, even if you're not expanding the footprint, there is now a bylaw in place that says you have to make your home solar ready. That actually just happened. It was a townhome that I sold in my neighborhood. It needed a lot of updates, and the buyers were doing a major gut renovation. They had to bring it up to standards that's kind of surpassed their immediate needs just to meet the code. As the planet gets hotter and all these communities are trying to wean us off fossil fuels, they're putting incentives in place that are both a carrot and a stick to encourage us to be more environmentally friendly. The net is right now it might cost you a little more money when you're renovating. Here's where we are at the end of June as we look back on the first 6 months. We always compare numbers to last year. We have similar numbers where inventories were dropping a little bit, so we don't have quite as many sales. We all remember from Econ 101, if there's a tighter supply, then prices go up. So there have been fewer homes on the market in general, and more buyers vying for those few homes. We are still seeing homes go wildly over asking. Late in May, May, we started to see inventories rise. So this was a very perplexing combination. So sellers have been garnering very high prices early in the spring. Now, all of a sudden, there's more than 2 homes to show in a particular town to a particular buyer in a particular price range. And it was like an embarrassment of riches to have, 6 houses to show somebody shopping around $2 million, which was not the case 3 months ago. Sellers were expecting these higher prices. Buyers were seeing more opportunities, more choices. That definitely slowed us down a little bit. We also think buyers were just kind of exhausted from these multiple bids that they might have lost out on. And so, maybe they started to think about their summer vacations in June, but all of a sudden there was a little bit of a calming in the market. I'm not going to call it a slowdown. So here are my thoughts if you are a buyer right now in July of 2024. First off, hang in there. If you missed out on homes earlier in the spring, you might just find the right house this summer, because we saw inventories rise late May all through June. And this is in all of our towns, in all of our price points. So there's more inventory and sometimes there's less competition. Those people who were frantic to get settled in the summer so they could enroll their kids in school are probably settled. Sometimes people just need a rest, and it coincides with their summer vacation. So maybe there's less competition. My note for sellers is be mindful of this when you are pricing your home. Listen to your realtor. We have demonstrated in many examples in this video and others, there were occasions where buyers went well over asking and sellers enjoyed multiple bids on their home. A lot of times waiving mortgage contingencies, doing pre-inspections, or even, God forbid, waiving the inspection. But again, we've talked about that in other videos. We don't want to be waiving your inspection ever. But basically, a lot of frantic behavior by buyers, which has generated high returns for sellers. It might not be quite as robust as it was earlier in this year, but there is still plenty of demand. There are still more buyers than there are available homes. I'm going to leave a link below to 2 examples of homes that sold wildly over asking. One was a house in Wellesley on Wall Street that was on the market in the 1.5s and had 14 offers, and it closed in the 1.8s. That was an example. It was walk to town. It was, a cute little cape. It had charm. It wasn't particularly updated. I think that was kind of like the tail end of really frantic behavior from buyers. We were frankly surprised that there were that many offers, but that's one example. And 28 Bancroft was another house that was listed for $1,899, also in Wellesley. Very nice house. But I remember walking through it thinking, wow, this seems like a lot to ask for this house, and it's sold over 2.1. We saw a huge pent-up demand in the spring that I think that has come down a little bit. So if you're a seller and you're coming along with your house that's similar to, in size and condition to that house, maybe what you're going to do is not price it at 2.1 million. You're going to still want to price it under 2 million and hope that it generates the excitement that 29 Bancroft did. So the other thing to think about if you're a seller is that condition really matters. Do that sprucing up, updating the paint, cleaning the windows, making sure your yard looks put together, trimmed and nicely landscaped, because those things do make a difference when buyers are coming forward and taking a look. So that's a quick snapshot of where we are in the end of June in 2024. If you're thinking about moving to Metro West or the surrounding areas, I hope you'll reach out so I can help you. And if you're curious about my process or what it's like to work with me, here are 5 steps. Typically, people reach out to me via email or a phone call, and we'll schedule an introductory call. I can understand what your needs, wants, goals, and timing are. I'm going to make sure that you are connected to a terrific lender, and I always encourage people to start with where they bank. And I have a couple lenders that I refer business to a lot that I know will provide not just great rates, but they'll be responsive and give excellent service right up until the close. But then we'll get into the specifics of the kind of home you're looking for, price point, condition, location. Then we get to the fun part where you can share homes with me, or I will share homes with you, and then schedule some time to actually see the homes when you get here. And then I will share my expertise in how to be successful making a bid in multiple offer situation. So there are some tricks and strategies when you're dealing with competitive offers that will help make you successful. So if you have other questions or thoughts, please leave it in the comments or reach out. I will see you in the next video. And thank you as always for watching.